So this week, we're at the end of week 23. Hard to believe it. It can't come any sooner. So I was in a workshop all week. You'll see some videos of that this week. And yesterday, so I had a closeout meeting with some of the leadership, and this was just another week. It was really beautiful for me to see the staff again, and people I only meet a couple times a year. They're really great people. You could tell they love each other, and it is heartwarming. Although we're an organization, and I do promote. We are an organization. We're not a family, but these people clearly treat each other like their family. It's very clear, different culture that I've rarely seen in any other organization, because most of these people have been here for like going on 3 decades and going through very difficult stuff together, and that does bind. But but the Bangkok office is very different. It's a very city mentality. But anyway, so the meeting yesterday was just, so we lost more funding this week. It was from incompetence, clearly incompetence. Some of the leadership made a very stupid decision. I won't go into the details. Maybe I'll save all the details for later when I'm gone. But I'm pretty ripped about it. And so we were having a meeting with some of the other leaders in this, and I called it out for what it was: and incompetence, poor judgment, and what did the leader didn't do anything, no response, no reaction. I've been saying for months, if we lose this funding, we're going to need to make more cuts. He spoke yesterday as if he never heard this before. I'm oh my gosh, I'm beside myself. And then the other leader, what did he do? He's the biggest gaslighter I have ever met, and he believes what he's saying. Just smoke and mirrors, totally deflecting responsibility, totally deflecting accountability, blaming everybody but the source of the problem. And it is constant making excuses. And I called him out for it. I said, we're making excuses. You're blaming everything else, but you're blaming someone who left a year ago. You're blaming the organization, the donor, but the people who made the stupid decision. I can't believe it. And he comes up, and I'm like, this is incompetence, and you have other staff saying this is incompetence. Well, it's gaslighting. It is gaslighting, and he believes it. I can see it. He believes what he's saying. And this is just one of those weeks, just 3 consecutive weeks in a row where I'm so glad I'm leaving, because this leadership is not sustainable. There's no way it can last. You're going to have 2 left thumbs running an organization, and one thumb is more decrepit than the other. So it just very relieved. My dilemma is, so this is about transitioning into retirement and leaving go of an organization. My dilemma is, do I try to do something about this incompetence, this leadership, this lack of accountability, or do I just let it go and try to do the best I can in my job until I'm gone? Because it's not going to change. And it's the first time. Yesterday was the first time I got angry in a meeting in a couple months. It's about 4 or 5 months since I was almost that angry, that I almost lost my temper at it, with the ridiculous argument that I was being given, and nobody challenging him other than me. And I kept my mouth shut. I did speak calmly, but I was pretty hot. Even last night I went to bed, I couldn't sleep. This was disturbing me, and I couldn't figure out why why was I so upset about this conversation? And it wasn't until this morning when I was praying and thinking about it, I'm like, it's the gaslighting. It was the gaslighting that triggered me. And I'm like, that's it. And that's been probably one of my biggest triggers in my entire life. Well, and I never knew why certain things triggered me so much. And it's gaslighting. And now I was able to identify that within a 24-hour period. And it took me years before to even understand what gaslighting was. And now I see it. I think the more you have that experience, and now I know it's because it's been a while since I've seen the gaslighting from this particular person. He's the biggest gaslighter I have ever met. And this is what I can't take. And then another leader who's just incompetent. He doesn't know left from right. So, yeah. So, very vivid, very, very vivid, very good realization this morning. That's where I really love those mornings when I can just think about what's going on. And I wish I would have figured it out last night. I couldn't figure out why I was so disturbed and so angry about it. And I think if I could have just said what the problem was and identified it, I probably would have been able to fall asleep. And I just have a relief from this. And I know it's from spending time with God and listening to Him and that revelation. So my dilemma is, do I do anything about it? Do I try to expose this? But I'm like, to who? The higher leadership is completely bought in to these too. So I think I need to accept what I've been doing the last couple months is just accept it and not fight it. I do the best I can with my job, with my position. I make sure my handover is as clean and as good as solid as possible. And then that's it. The future is not mine to change. It's in God's hands. So that really puts a lot of relief on me. It's sad. It's sad that this is I'm really sad that this is my last work experience. I just can't believe it. I'm just so sad that this is, unless God has something in store for me in Lao, that's the only other thing. I'm like, all this experience, all this, like, really grueling experience, and I just can't believe it would end. So it's very hard. It's hard to let go, but I can't. The sooner I leave, the better. So we're at the end of week 23. We got tomorrow starts week 22, and next week we go to Laos for a couple weeks to work from home, and that just there's a couple weeks there. That'll take me down to week 15. I mean, really, 5 months left in the year, and really 4 months left working with all the leaves and that I'm owed in the holidays. So on some better note, so it was a good trip. I'm glad I got to see some of the stuff. I probably won't ever see most of them again. And this is the first job I can walk away with. I think they're very sweet people. Even the ones I'm working with, they're some very sweet people. But it's the difficult people and the management that it just killed it for me. I love the mission. I think it's a pretty good mission, although I won't get into that. I'll talk about that when I'm gone. It's too much to talk about, reveal now. So this week, what's been happening? Stock market keeps hitting all-time highs, and it's a bull run, and they were predicting that. Tom Lee and some of the bigger investors, they were predicting this. And part of that is, I was just listening to some rationale this morning. I was watching a video from Clear Tax Value, I think it's called, or something like that. He's really good. He gives good economic overview and any changes throughout the week. And I believe what he's saying is true. I think there's going to be a great melt up, and there's a bigger division between the haves and the have-nots that's going to continue. It's less than 1% of the population controls 90% of the wealth in the U.S. And I said the only way, and the gap, the middle class is decreasing. So we're moving into a system where we have wealthy and the poor, and it's going to look like a lot of other third world countries. There's going to be almost little to no middle class, and this is because of inflation. This is because of poor economic data, poor financial education, and with people. The debt is outrageous. I mean, Trump's not doing anything about the debt. I believe what Musk is saying. Trump he's going to add another several trillion to the debt. The budget line, the interest we pay on debt is going to be one of the biggest budget lines, if not the biggest. And the money printing is just off the wall. We thought Biden was printing money. They're printing more money. And I agree that there's going to be a great melt up. The only way you can stay ahead of inflation is to invest, and people aren't investing. It's a very small population, very small percentages. I don't want to give too many details of the percentages because I listen to them and I read them, but I don't really remember them very well. But it's staggering, and the only way you can stay out of it is to invest. Spend less than you make and invest it, because there's no other way to stay ahead. And the only way you're going to stay ahead is you need to invest in stocks and companies who are going to outperform the market, and with the AI boom, this is coming. And this is the other thing that's very clear. AI is going to be replacing office workers. The officers and the finance people, the accountants and the bookkeepers, those are going by the wayside. AI is replacing it. I mean, one company I saw is they already said that Salesforce, I think it is. They already said that AI is doing 40% of what people used to do. 40% of their department, and this is just going to cut down costs. It's going to increase their profit margin. And it's going to make those people who invest in that more wealthy. And if you're not in it, we're still in the early innings. I think we got a couple more years left for this initial first chapter, and then it's going to go into another phase. But this is what I'm invested in. I'm invested in all this technology that's building out that AI system, and because my kind of work is going by the wayside. I'm losing my job, and I really don't think there's going to be much more out there for me unless God does something. So it's the only way out. And I just checked my Bolden percentages. So my pessimistic outlook for success is at 70%. My optimistic outlook is at 90% success, and my baseline is at 89%. And I can keep pushing those numbers to see how much room I have. But I mean, that's just looking good. I mean, I just checked my year-to-date performance. I'm up 18% just year-to-date. Since the April lows, I'm up 42%. It's crazy, and they're expecting another 10-15% just on the S&P. On the S&P 500, they're expecting another 10 to 15% by the end of the year. And my stock portfolio, I'm about a 6, I would say 6.5, pushing 6.5 risk level, 6 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10. So my portfolio should do better than the S&P, and it has been, because I'm in little riskier stocks. I'm all equities, and a couple of ETFs. But I am moving over to more income stocks, which I will start probably by the end of the year, putting more heavily into. I'm very low on cash. I've been so my strategy. So they're reaching all-time highs. I've been taking profits. Just here and there, a little bit here and there, with stocks that are like my Palantir stock. I have a 1500% gain in. I bought it and I started buying it in 2021, 2022 when it was $6, between $6 and $8. To 15x in a matter of 2 or 3 years. That's insane. That's what I expected in a 10-year period. If I was fortunate. So I'm just selling a couple there, a couple here. I have a couple of other stocks like Hims or Hers. I have over a 10x. There's a couple others. 10x return already within less than 5 years. And I just peel off, take profits, store the cash, and then what I do with that is I buy ETF income dividend ETF. I just dollar cost average into that. A couple of stock every week. Just every Friday I just buy about 5 to 10 stocks depending on where the price is, and just keep piling up that dividend income ETF. I use SCHD for that mostly. So I just keep nibbling at that. I keep taking some profits, adding to my income, that stable ETF, and then holding some cash. I'm not even 2% in cash, because I don't want to be, not in this market. So it's just a little bit in case there's a pullback, and then if there's a good 5 to 10% correction within the next year and within the next 6 months. There usually is in September. September is one of the worst months of the year. I've experienced that ever since I've been investing and watching the market. That's when I'm just going to put it all. I'm going to move it all in. I'm not going to play with it anymore. So if there's no significant pullback by the end of the year, I'm just going to dump it in. Dump it all in, probably to ETFs. Or if there's any good prices, any stock that's on sale. So I keep checking here for see if there's any dead birds or birds floating around. I've already saved 2 in here, but there's nothing here. Yeah, so that's the financial plan. I met with my finance staff, and we're working on it. So that's my personal finance plan. It's just crazy to see. That we've already passed, my portfolio has already passed what I expected to have by the end of the year. I just can't believe it. And it's not a million, it's not even a million, but we're going to live simply in Lao. It's significantly less than a million. We're going to live simply in Lao, and I think we'll be okay. I think the next year or two, there's going to be a melt up with the stock market, as this guy said. I don't remember his name, but so that's all I have. I don't want this to drag on too far. Just wanted to hit on those 2 things. This is the end of week 22 or week 23. Tomorrow is week 22. This is Troyce at Winding Down Chronicles of an Expat going into early retirement. I'm not retired yet, but I am getting there. I'm really excited to soon be there. I'm looking forward to the next chapter. My wife is excited. Things are coming. We're talking next week with the pastor for more planning for the wedding, and before we head to Laos, we're going to take the train to Laos. I'll take some video of that and share with you. So take care, everybody. God bless, and take it slow.